The missile defense shield is essential for Europe's security. There are delays according to a report sent to the US Congress. And the question is how soon the missile shield will be operational in Deveselu.
What I would say is there are no delays with regards to the missile shield in Deveselu. We are on budget and on schedule to deploy the Aegis Ashore site in Deveselu next year as scheduled. In the President's budget request to Congress released last month, he asked for $8.5 billion for missile defense. And we are very confident that Congress will fund the President's request by the end of the year.
This amount of money is for the overall program?
Yes.
In case of need, have the necessary defense procedures been established at the NATO level?
Oh, NATO is making very good progress on implementing the decision at the Lisbon summit to develop a NATO missile defense system. For example, the U.S. is providing what we call the European phased adaptive approach as a U.S. national contribution to the NATO missile defense system. There are three phases of the European phased adaptive approach. Phase one has been deployed. That includes a radar in Turkey, which is operational today, augmented by Aegis ships armed with SM-3 missiles. That met the scheduled deadline of the end of 2011. Phase two, which calls for the deployment of the Aegis Ashore site here in Romania in 2015, and Phase 3, which calls for the deployment of a second land-based Aegis Ashore site in Poland.
President Putin and the Kremlin administration always stated that U.S. missile defense is a threat to the Russian national security. The nuclear agreement reached with Iran has removed both the threat and the West justification for the shield. The Russians are saying, what's your perspective on this matter?
First, U.S. missile defenses and NATO missile defenses are not directed against Russia, nor do they have the capability to negate Russia's strategic deterrent. Number two, let me be very clear about this. While the United States in the past has sought missile defense cooperation with Russia, we have been extremely clear with the Russians that we will not accept any limitations on U.S. or NATO missile defenses. The Russian argument on Iran and Iran's missiles, let me also be clear. As long as Iran continues to develop ballistic missiles, the United States will work with its friends and allies to defend against that threat.
Some Republicans believe that President Obama practically gave Russia a gift by changing the initial missile shield program. On the other hand, Russian officials stated that they have the technology to breach the shield. How do you comment on that?
When President Obama realigned the missile defense program in Europe, he did so because the need to deal with the Iranian threat. And the Iranian threat right now is primarily short and medium range missiles. The decision he made had nothing to do with Russia or appeasing Russia or trying to make Russia happy. It had everything to do with ensuring that we had the right proven capabilities to meet the threat from Iran. And that system will evolve to deal with the threats as the threat evolves. That's why we call it the phased adaptive approach.
Have you noticed any changes or developing threats from North Korea?
Yes, we are very concerned about North Korea's continued development of long-range ballistic missiles. Last March, Secretary Hagel announced that the United States was going to deploy additional long-range missile defense interceptors to deal with the increasing threat from North Korea's ballistic missiles. For example, one of the key elements that drove Secretary Hagel's decision was the fact that we have identified a new mobile North Korean ICBM that we believe has the capability to target the United States.
Today we are facing a geostrategic crisis in Ukraine. What will U.S. do to deter President Putin from making further military moves? That
is not my area of responsibility, so I will defer to President Obama and Secretary Kerry, who have been very clear that the United States stands by the people of Ukraine and stands by the territorial integrity of Ukraine, and have called for Russia to stop their illegal actions in Ukraine.
What's your message to the Romanian citizen regarding the missile shield?
Thank you very much for working with the United States together to improve the security of all NATO allies against ballistic missile threats.
Thank you very much, sir, for the interview.
Thank you.